Hi friends, MD Vegan. I'm making cauliflower rice today with kale. So kind of kale salad with cauliflower rice. First, I make the cauliflower rice, and for that my best tool is the food processor fitted with the S-blade. Yeah, here the S-blade. That's very versatile, this tool. It saves so much time, and some things I can't even get done without it. Yeah, especially when it comes to live bakery, the dough. It's really best to have this one. Okay, now I have half of a small cauliflower, just the florets, a little bit of the stems, a little bit, just not too much. And this is a nice portion. Raw cauliflower is not only super healthy, it's also filling and keeping, and it's balancing. If I eat raw cauliflower, it really keeps me balanced. I don't have to eat again that fast. It's wonderful. And it could be eaten every day. It's like a staple, like potatoes, in a raw version only. And to make it more delicious, especially for the kale salad, I put a little bit of oil, just not too much, just to have the rice, the similarity, the rice a little bit more stressed here. Just a tablespoon or two of olive oil, it's a good quality, and a little bit of Himalayan salt. Not too much salt, it shouldn't be too salty. Cauliflower is pretty tender, and it has this strong flavor, the chard flavor, cabbage flavor. It's a cruciferous vegetable, and so a little bit can break this flavor down. A little bit of, I take a little bit of more salt now because I won't have other seasonings in the salad. That's all by themselves, the other ingredients. But now, for now, this is a wonderful rice. Maybe a little bit too salty to be eaten by itself, as is. As a base for a salad, right. So very quick, 2-3 seconds. So one round, and the rice is done. Isn't that cool? Raw food is easy. I don't reject cooked food, but raw food is so quick. You see, here, that's rice, kind of rice. And the word rice does not come from the cereal, from the rice from the fields. No, rice means a small, like a sand-like texture. That means rice, originally. Today we use it for rice, but who cares? So I have a little tool here quickly on hand to get the rice out of the food processor, and I put it into the salad bowl as my first main ingredient, the cauliflower rice, slightly seasoned with olive oil and salt. You see, this is a small portion of rice. Isn't it similar? Isn't it amazing, right? So I put that aside now. I have a little bit work to do with my kale. Here, this is my kale. You see, some nice stems, and you see these stems here. They have to be taken off, and that is very easy with cauliflower, with kale, like this. It goes very simple. Just have to strip it from the stems because they are too hard and too bitter. The stems for a salad, I don't need them in the salad. Take them away. And that's very easy. And now I have a cutting board here, and that is a classical way to make a kale salad. It is using a chef's knife, or this is a chef knife. This is a big knife. Usually what you need in the kitchen, basically, is chef knife and cutting board. These two things are most important. What you can also do is using this kind of knife. This is the Brazilian knife. Yeah, you see, this kind of knife is also very nice. I use that today, because I use these movements. I could use my chef knife too, but I showed you this time. I showed you this other knife. Whatever your knife you have at hand is okay. But this has a very nice form, shape. It is perfectly made for this. And I will come back in a moment when it is done, because I want to have a very fine texture to the kale. I see you in a moment, and I'm done. So this is what I have now. Show you. This is all that's left now from the kale. Yeah, it doesn't look like a lot, but it is a lot. It's a very high nutrient dense green, and it has culinary reasons why I use this draw knife, like a cradle, to chop it up, but it also chemical reasons. So I will, before I go on, I will just put it now into my salad, just as is onto the cauliflower. So I have 2 ingredients now. Here, that's almost the same amount, a little bit more kale maybe, so it's a kale salad then, basically. And together with the kale, I will use 2 more ingredients. Yeah. That is, together with the kale, I counted, is an onion and a red bell pepper, and they all have been chopped up into small pieces. Yeah. And that goes very nice with kale. Yeah. An onion and red bell pepper are delicious with kale. And I will just combine everything with the cauliflower. And I have, as I said before, I have seasoned the cauliflower with regard to its use in the salad. The kale has a very strong flavor, and the salt, olive oil in the cauliflower, they make it palatable. I will taste it now. So good. So good. It can sit for a while, but I can also eat it right away. And to make it perfect, I have one part is the cauliflower part, second part is the kale part with the onion and the kale, and the third part of the topping makes it perfect, I would say, and some hazelnuts. It's a little more crunchy texture, hazelnuts. I tried some other nuts, which would be nice with red bell pepper and so, and I've ended up with the hazelnuts. I will just halve them on a cutting board with a chef knife. It's very easy to barely touch the hazelnuts and they spring open into halves. And I like it a little bit better when they are open, because then they combine more nicely, easily with the other ingredients. And that's their job. They have to be part of the whole. Yeah. They can't be just on their own, sitting in the mouth. They have to be part of the whole and add to the whole flavor, the new flavor. Yeah. That's why I cut them open a little bit. So now, while the rice here and the kale is sitting, there is a chemical reaction going on. This is my salad here, see? Isn't it beautiful? Very simple and very nutritious and super healthy. 2 kinds of cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables, that means that the blossoms are growing in a crosswise. So they have 4 blossoms, that's cruciferous. And all these crucifers like bok choy, kale, cauliflower, broccoli, all these plants are very special, high-graded, the health benefits. And especially with the kale, when I cut it into small pieces, these hard leaves and cells are broken up. And as soon as they break up, the chemical reaction begins, and the bioactive substance in the broccoli, on the cauliflower, evolves. Yeah? There is an enzyme necessary. There's an enzyme in the broccoli, or in the cauliflower, and also all everywhere in the kale in this case, that begins to make this, to produce this bioactive substance. This enzyme is important. When you cook it, this enzyme gets reduced So that's also why cauliflower and kale are really more potent if you eat them cooked raw than cooked, because this most interesting substance that is even anti-cancer active, and they research on it. They always say probably, but it is pretty much on the research, and we are pretty certain that these kinds of cruciferous cauliflower and kale and broccoli are super healthy. We know that, but they find out now why exactly the reason is. But you can also, if you eat it right away, the same chemical reaction would happen in the stomach. Yeah, while sitting in the stomach, yeah, it takes for a while to be digested. The first step of second step of digestion. The first is in the mouth, and while sitting in the stomach, this chemical reaction is taking place, and this wonderful substance evolves. Yeah. So no problem eating kale, but you have to chew it well or cut it very nicely like I did. That's a good reason, and to make it not only more delicious but also more healthy and more effective. So I hope you enjoyed my little recipe here. If so, give me a thumbs up, like my video, subscribe MD Vegan on YouTube, have another recipe every single day, and find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter.